welcome back to How You Livin with Dr. Kiva and Robin B. And as promised, we have a very special guest today, and we're going to be talking about all things astrology. And our guest is Ms. Mayline Robertson from way over in Montana. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, in
Thank
Montana.
you for joining us. Tell us a little about yourself, Mayline. It's our pleasure.
Yes. Well, I'm a kinesiologist out here in beautiful Montana, Billings, Montana, and I love astrology. Been studying it almost my whole life, and after I went to kinesiology school, worked on a lot of clients, worked in a chiropractor's office for many years. It was just like trying to figure out what made certain people the way they were, what brought up different health issues. And then I got studying the elements, fire, earth, water, air, and I found that astrology really like made it so clear for me. And then getting a really in-depth reading for just studying my own chart helped me to understand why I am the way I am. And then later on, I went to the International School of Astrology for a couple years, and that was fabulous. And I then focused more on medical astrology. And
Wow.
medical astrology.
Yeah, I've never heard of medical astrology.
How is medical astrology different from?
From a chart you can see if you're going to have digestive issues, what foods. If you have more water signs than fire signs, then you need to eat more fire foods, right? If you have a lot of earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, then those signs, I mean, for sure, then you want to limit the heavier foods, If you are mostly air signs, then you want heavier foods to help ground you. So there's just a lot in there. And it's so many people just like horoscopes or just your sun sign. Astrology is just so much more in depth than that, as it pretty much encompasses pretty much every aspect of your life. You can kind of take a glimpse, a perspective into just one aspect. So astrology you can read it from a lot of different angles. Health, relationships is what a lot of people like, career. So you can take it a lot of ways, but it is definitely like a roadmap to discovering yourself and what makes you click.
That is awesome.
You know what that reminds me of? Kind of Ayurvedic medicine.
Yeah.
When you start to look at the pitta and the different
And the
kind of.
vata.
Yeah.
Vata, yeah.
It really coincides with that, and I have seen myself kind of intermingling the two.
That's great. Do you also blend astrology with your kinesiology practice?
I do when I need, like, okay, why is this person struggling with this health issue for so long? Let's take a look at your astrology. A lot of astrology deals with the elements of your body. It could actually take a look, depending on your beliefs, past life things you're bringing in, and especially the things that you're wanting to work out this lifetime on a soul level.
Very good.
So with that, if for our viewers, that is how you would describe what astrology is, just kind of an overview of how would you tell someone who's like, I don't know about astrology, I've never heard of it before. What exactly is it?
Astrology would be, well, it's determined from your birth. So but it is a roadmap to your life and why you even wanted to be a certain sign. Say there were deficiencies in the past and you decided to become a Cancer to be more loving. You wanted to become a Capricorn because you wanted to go up the ladder of success, things like that. So it's been around forever.
And is it related? It's related to the stars and the planets?
It's related to the stars and the planets. So say your birth time. What's your birthday?
Okay, I'm a Libra, October 14th.
Yes. Okay,
The
so
year is unknown.
So the time, the year, and then the hour and the minutes. It's a snapshot of the universe. Wow. And so there's been different charts all the way from the Babylonian time. So astrology's been around from BC, second
BC, way BC.
And everyone's always looked to the stars for answers, right? And the answers are in the stars.
That's true.
What's also interesting, it's almost like yoga with
It is.
karma, because you
It
know
is.
you burn off karma in this lifetime, and then you come back to,
Right.
and then you're always moving forward. Or even like Buddhism, you know, you're always trying to get that
Oh,
enlightenment. So every time you come back and live that lifetime to develop more enlightenment. That's how it kind of sounds like when you said the stars.
as the key. It takes a little time to understand charts, and it's something you don't want to learn all in one day, but it's something if you build on to learn a little bit every time, it gets more and more interesting, and especially just for your own self. I found it unlocked so many answers and understanding like why I am the way I am and other people are, why you're attracted to certain people, or all my boyfriends were Capricorn, for up until one,
Interesting.
because I have no Capricorn in my chart. And it was just
Wow.
like I needed to learn that work energy or whatever, whatever
So you're
Capricorn
drawn towards Capricorns without even trying.
was at one point. Yeah, girlfriends, boyfriends, all of these friends. It was all Capricorn at one point.
So can a horoscope, can your astrology chart tell you whether or not someone has a proclivity towards special talents or skills? Or
Yeah,
can you tell somebody if like they're going to be talented or artistic?
Or if they need to just own a business or just work for
Oh,
someone.
that's good. That's good.
it's going to show you if you're more creative inclined or more like mental business. It's going to show you if you're independent versus enjoying working with people, more private versus socially conscious.
And it
There's just
definitely helps you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and so it's your sun, moon. There's about 9 planets you would look at in an astrology chart to see. So of those 9 planets, some will be air signs, some will be water signs. So it's really a blend. If some people don't like a certain element, but be careful because it may be in your chart. If you don't,
Right.
you could have a lot of Gemini in your chart.
Okay.
So you're kind of a blend of all of them. It depends on the placement of that sign. So the top 3 would be your sun, which would represent yourself, obviously,
Okay.
your
This is good.
personality, it's your ego, your evolving self. It's your soul, basically. The moon, which I love, and in Vedic astrology, the moon would represent the mind and your emotions. And it would be almost like here's a cup of tea. The cup would be your sun, and the tea, the water part would be your moon. It's that the fluid motions and emotions and feelings you're going to have. So, and that could be, so that's why a lot of times we're like, well, that Leo person is very different than this Leo person,
Right.
because
Right.
the moon is a completely different sign than each other.
That's
And then,
good because
and then the third point would be your rising planets. So that's why the time of birth is going to be really important in
time
your.
is important. Okay.
You can still read it, but it's kind of like I'm not sure about the accuracy. I've heard it.
Have you ever like? Oh, I'm sorry. Have you ever recommended someone say, "Oh, that partner's not good for you because of the chart," and they're so different?
I don't know if
Can
that
you
would
do that? Can
I don't
you
know if
play
she ever
that?
tells somebody.
Never.
Don't go him. Oh, no.
No, because of the differences in the moon and the rising, I've never said this person wasn't good for you. It could be, like I said, you're attracting that person because of the deficiency of that element in your chart. So that person needs that person to order to learn, to grow, to become a better, more whole person, which is the purpose of relationships, right? To become more whole
Right.
with yourself.
Absolutely.
So really so when you're reading, just if someone's like, well, let me just see what my sign is saying for today, it's really not giving you a full picture. It's just
It's
kind
not
of.
giving the full picture. So I've actually personally never looked at like a newspaper's horoscope for the day.
That's what I was thinking.
At my own astrology or my own horoscope when I look at all of them, and I'm going to look at different aspects going on in the sun. I will tell you that you could tell a lot about your day just by the transiting planets around your chart, and you would call that transits. If Mercury's in retrograde, those bigger planets that they're making the bigger shifts. So right now, Pluto is in the sky right now, making a conjunction with the United States. So the United States in a big birth with this Pluto rebirth. Pluto represents birth, death, transition. So there's a lot of transitioning, particularly for the United States. So planetary energy, when it's the bigger planets, those are fun to look at later on.
So during a week of a full moon, I have all kinds of stomach issues. Like, is that related?
Your time of birth, if you're born in the morning versus born at night, will have a completely different effect on your personality. The full moon versus a new moon, we call them moon phases. And if I look at that in your chart, if you were born during a new moon, you would kind of be a natural speaker. If you're born during a full moon or maybe after, a natural teacher.
That is very
That's
cool.
interesting.
That is very
Oh,
good to
little
know.
It's I've heard it said that astrology, if you're going to really study it, finding a good astrologer, it is the most accurate as far as
Like tarot cards or
cards, psychics, mediums.
psychics, right?
Yeah, it's the number one. Palm reading, it is going to be
Wow.
number one.
Because it's almost scientific. Is that why?
Um,
No.
it is
It's
scientific,
okay.
more metaphysic. You're
Okay.
taking something that's, I just really believe in just the planetary energy because they affect everything.
Absolutely.
You know, I went to the what is it, Kalabala Center once.
Oh, the Kabbalah Center?
Yeah, I went there once, and it
Really?
seemed like they had a
Cool.
whole different horoscope for me, for my birth date. Have you ever seen that? Is it different for like different Western compared to other?
Yeah, so there's
Studies?
Western astrology. They're gonna, and even within Western, there's different ways to look at your chart. In all, it's still the same chart. They're gonna move it around a little bit. They're gonna start the houses with maybe a different, just slightly different. There's Vedic, which is more East Indian. There's the Kabbalah, which is more the Jewish, and it's kind of they use the map of consciousness of yourself, and then they use astrology to guide it. It's all kind of relatively the same. Like I said, it's the same chart. No one's going to change your
Okay.
birth time.
It's just interpreted different?
Read slightly different. So some planets may be different houses. Like in Vedic astrology, it's read 23 degrees backwards from Western. So if you know
Oh, wow.
Western chart, you have to be good with math with some astrology things. So
Right. That's not me.
just subtract it 20 degrees.
Wow. So
There
do
you have
you do like? Can you do charts for children, for young people?
Yeah.
Or is it, okay.
a blueprint, kind of a blueprint, kind of like, okay, you can kind of see what they're gonna do. Never exact, obviously, because of the transits, and then there's progression. So there's different charts you can look at even within a chart.
And it seemed like it would also be nature versus nurture. You know, like, okay, this is where you were born, but these are the people you were born to.
Right.
That would kind of affect that shift also.
Right. Which is why sometimes geniuses are born to, I don't want to say morons, but little geniuses could be born to people who are not very bright. And that's because it could be when they were born, the time they were born. You see that a lot. I won't say morons. I didn't say that.
Celebrities
That's a horrible word.
born, like why were they famous? Celebrities,
Right.
stars, like,
Right.
and you can see in their chart they would have, like the Home Alone star and Macaulay Culkin.
Right.
He was born where the first part of his life is all this fame, all this fortune, and then the last part of his life, not so much. Same with. Who's the other person I was going to think of? Oh, just like I remember in school we would study different singers, like Kurt Cobain.
Right.
He had so much water in his chart. It was like Pisces, Scorpio. I mean, just so much water. But that's where he got all that feeling and all that music and all that creativity, right? So a lot of singers, songwriters are going to have a lot of water mixed with a lot of fire, I'm going to say.
Have you done a lot of famous people's charts? Because that would explain, like Wendy Williams. I always think Wendy Williams, such a volatile life she's lived, you know?
Right. I actually,
during
one of my favorite hobbies is if I'm watching TV or a show and I'm like, ooh, I got to look them up, and I'll put in astrology. Or Angelina Jolie, I've done her. I've done in-depth people, Elizabeth Taylor, the Gone with the Wind gal, Vivian Leigh. I've done a few.
Wow.
So with that being said, because I'm sure people are going to say, well, now I need my chart done.
Absolutely.
You know, because that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So how can people get in contact with you? What's your social media and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I have a website, servingwithjoyhealer.com. I have an Instagram, also serving with Joy Healer. Yeah, I do phone sessions. I see people in person if it's for kinesiology. Like I said, I'm more apt to look at your chart in terms of like what's good for your health, and
Right.
and relationships are some of my favorite things to look at.
So they can also message you on your social media if they want to set up a time to get on your schedule.
Yes, I also have an assistant. Sometimes some people, and
Okay.
not.
So is there a number that someone can reach you through your contact people?
Yes. Well, my numbers, you can reach me too. I don't mind.
Okay, you're very kind. And we
Yeah,
can put it, we'll put it all up also. We'll put it on
Yeah.
our Facebook
I mean,
when we,
happy.
because it's probably on her website
yeah,
also.
it's on your website. It is. The contact info is on your website.
Yeah.
I don't put it
So
on.
so repeat your website one more time.
Servingwithjoyhealer.com.
All words,
All
all
right.
one word.
Well,
Serving
thank you
with joy.
so much.
We really
Wow.
appreciate that.